Hi, I'm Paul from Paul Kelly Golf. How much performance are you leaving on the table if your equipment is outdated? I'm not talking 3 years or 4 years or 5 years, but what about 10 years? What about 15 years? What about 22 years? I want to show you a fitting that I did recently where we compared a player's tailor-made rack LT irons to the new Callaway AI Smoke. Now the rack came out in 2002. So what kind of performance gains have we picked up in 22 years worth of technology advancement? Is it significant? Is it a little bit? Is it just kind of myth and marketing? Stay tuned. You're not going to believe this. So let's get the initial data out of the way first. The 2002 TaylorMade rack 7-iron is 35 degrees aloft. The Callaway AI Smoke 7-iron is 28 degrees aloft. So we have a 7-degree loft difference, which should account for some ball speed difference. We should hit the ball farther with the AI Smoke. And 7 degrees is almost 2 clubs. So we should expect to see 2 clubs based on that performance. But if the loft is turned down, what happens to the angles? What happens to the trajectory? What happens to the apex, the maximum height? What happens to the landing angle? And what happens to the dispersion? Are we giving up accuracy for a little bit of extra distance? Well, it's 22 years worth of technology advancement. So let's dig into this and show you what came out the other side. So let's look at ball speed. Now, when you're gapping your clubs, it's nice to have about 5 miles an hour of ball speed between irons. So 2 irons worth of gapping in the loft, going from the old loft to the new lofts of the 7 irons, should equate for about 10 miles an hour of ball speed. That's what we would expect to see. But we have got 18 miles an hour of ball speed. We're at 108 to 126 in ball speed. That is significant because every mile an hour of ball speed gives you almost 2.5 yards. So this is going to add up very quick. So the ball speed has gone way past what just that 7 degrees aloft change should be, because that should really only give me maybe 8 or 10 miles an hour ball speed, not 18. I've doubled that pretty well. Now, with additional ball speed, we got an increased smash factor. And your smash factor is your efficiency rating. How much am I getting out of what I put in? And I went from 1.29 with this client to 1.38, and that is significant. That's a huge difference in efficiency. So hitting it farther, hitting it more efficient, all good so far. We haven't seen any downfalls yet. Now is a good time to hit the subscribe button, the like button. Feel free to share. Feel free to leave a comment. I'm a certified master teaching professional. I've got 35 years experience. I'm a top 50 Canadian teaching professional and a top 100 fitter for North America. I've got a lot of content to offer. I've got a lot of knowledge to offer. And I like to keep things simple so that everybody can understand it and it makes sense. So we've seen ball speed and we've seen efficiency go up. But I know the million-dollar question is, but what does that mean in distance? Well, let's have a look. With the TaylorMade rack, he was producing a 160-yard carry. Now, I did a fitting with this person last year on these exact same irons, and we looked at a different iron, and we saw the similar results. He produced about 160 yards of carry. Now, with that additional ball speed, that produces 205 yards of carry for the Callaway. This is the same length club, same player, within 15 minutes of each other. We've gone from 160 carry to 206 carry. Now, you're thinking that's impossible. There's no way that that can happen. This happened. And it also happened last year when I fit him into Paradigm X, but he never pulled the trigger due to one thing or another. And he came back this year looking to get the fitting redone. We saw exact similar numbers, give or take 2 or 3 yards. So we've gone from 160 carry to 205 carry. Have you seen any negatives yet? 45 yards of additional carry with an iron. And I know what you're thinking. It's not true. It's not true, but it's true. I do this all the time. I'm telling you, this is an extreme case, but this is true. This happened. All right. We have more ball speed. We have a greater smash factor. We have 45 yards of additional carry. Somewhere it's got to fall apart. This got to be all over the place, and there's no accuracy. Well, let's take a look. Horizontal distance is your offline distance in relationship to the center line. With the rack at 160 yards, he was 13 yards on average offline. With the AI Smoke, with an additional 45 yards of carry, so 160 to 205, he's about 3/4 of a yard closer. He picked up accuracy at 45 yards longer. Now, let's go back a couple of steps If he was to pick the AI Smoke iron that needed to replicate that 160, he would be down probably 3-4 clubs. Now, don't you think that that accuracy is even going to be tighter again? So comparing yardage to yardage, this is 10 times more accurate. If he was going the other way and decided, well, I need a 205-yard carry with my TaylorMades, he's probably down into a 3 iron, and there's no way that he will have that tight cluster and that accuracy. 45 yards longer, more accurate. Still haven't seen any negatives yet. Let's keep looking. All right, 45 yards longer, more accurate. Something's got to give. You're thinking, okay, but this is not going to stop. These are going to go forever when they hit the ground because they're flying lower. So let's take a look at the height. With his rack, he's 35 yards high. With the Callaway, 35 yards high. He has the same overall height, which means the ball is coming in and going to land soft. So these are not flying lower. They're flying the same height, but 45 yards longer. I can't stress, when you're looking at this, you cannot ignore the distance because it lets you hit a different club than you would normally hit. So the distance has to be a factor when you're looking at these things. 45 yards longer, more accurate, flying just as high. So your landing angle, which is your descent angle, with his rack, he's running 50 degrees. With the Callaway Smoke, it's 46. Now, if this was 35 compared to 50 or 40 compared to 50, this would be a big deal. But 46 is an optimum landing angle. 46 to 50 to 52 is an optimum landing angle for irons. And I have to go back again. It is 45 yards longer. Would you expect to have the same landing angle if you went down 4 clubs in your own set to try and produce that distance? No, you wouldn't. So, in a nutshell, what did we accomplish? Well, we went from 160 to 205 carry. At 205, we were slightly more accurate than we were at 160. The ball flew the same height and landed within a few degrees of the rack, but 45 yards longer. Folks, if you want to get fit and you want to see what your true potential is when you leave the old technology behind and get fit for proper head, proper shaft, proper lie, proper loft, proper grip size, give me a call. Let me get you into something that will outperform anything that you ever had in your life before. I'm Paul Kelly. Thanks for watching.